Do we know the impact to other insects from mosquito spraying? I don't really know a ton about it.
That's been the big controversy, is we have several beekeepers in the community. That depends which ones you talk to. Some guys say they've lost hives because of the spraying. There is a no spray list you can sign up for. So if we do spray, you can sign up and they won't spray in front of your house. I think they stop a house before and start a house after. And I'm sure that depends on how the air is drifting, how still it is, on how far those chemicals make it.
I've talked to one beekeeper in Champion, and he says that in the year we did not spray, his mortality rate for his bees was really low. And the reason for that, you spray, I have a problem with it altogether. I think more mosquitoes are killed on the front end of a car than the spraying does.
I love it. Every year, I can't wait for next year.
Anyway,
I think you do more walking the dog.
what happens is spray, depending on the evening, depending on how much water is in the roadside ditches and the dew on the grass, bees require water when they get their pollen. And they stop and get their water, and they take that back to the hive. And that's where the problem is with beekeepers. You know, you can have no spray zones. It all sounds well and good to those that aren't involved in beekeeping, but it still gets into the hives. And, you know, that's an issue. And, you know, he's a beekeeper, but those bees pollinate fruit trees and vegetables.
They're vital.
And everything. It's vital.
We have at least 5 beekeepers in Champion that I'm aware of. So if I'm only aware of 5, I'm sure there's probably double, triple that, you know. Some of them have 20 hives, some of them have 3 hives, you know, but just, I've been to a lot of houses in this township and I see a lot of people that have them. And it's driving down the road, you can see some people that are probably a little more than hobbyists into that. They have a lot of hives. Mike Home State Farm, Champion Street gets several. You know, so, and that's the problem is, we have a couple beekeepers that have come to the meetings and say that their mortality rates go through the roof when we spray. We have other beekeepers that come say, yeah, they spray right down in front of my house. I have no mortality problems. So, I don't know, I don't have the knowledge to say what's right and wrong with that. But
So bees have 5-mile radius. They're out and about and getting pollen and coming back to their hives in the evening. So, what it could very well be that whatever's causing the problem is not Champion causing it if they go 5 miles. So I don't know, but I really believe that it's a feel-good thing. It's sprayed. We're all better now. I spend a lot of time in the woods. I don't think it makes a dent. My personal opinion, but maybe the evening they spray it, if there's any bees out and about in the right of way. I mean, mosquitoes in the right of way. But other than that,
Well, we did that last year, so if we're not gonna spray, there's no sense to go through with the, spraying it off. With the township that's definitely gonna spray, they'll spread that money through the other communities that aren't gonna spray.
Put in for the grant.
Did you?
Yeah, but
We
it's
can
not a
pull
big
out.
deal if we don't take it. I just wanted to be on the list in case you guys wanted to do it.
Okay. Well,
But to actually get it, I don't have to call, I don't have to schedule, I can leave it alone.
I would think that education and, pellets are much more effective, but. All right, we'll see what happens here.
Let them know. Where would you guys like these no jake break signs? I got an email from Skaggs, taking care of everything else up with it. I wanted to get the map to Aaron. You want them on 82, Champion starts, Champion ends. You want them coming off of 45 on the ramps going east and west,
Are you having problems up on Mahoning by your house with it?
once in a while.
So,
So, would you
'cause
want
I mean,
them,
it's,
you want them at the township line, at Bristol Town Line, and the Warren end, then do you need them coming off of 305, on the 45, that's what I mean, how many, where do you guys want them at? So I know where to place them. How many signs do you want, because we have to buy them.
I would say definitely between,
On 45, you want them on the highway too? Or you just want them on 45 for now? Want them on 305?
I would think 45 between, maybe State Road and the township limit to the south, for certain. Although there's not much residential there, the problem, the complaints are coming from the residential area on 45 between the bypass and the township line, a couple hundred yards. Down by Star Forge and stuff, those trucks are coming down through, both directions, you get a lot of gyro traffic there. There's actually a lot of truck traffic there. Some of those guys are ignorant with that. And then the deceleration ramps, I think those people are more concerned with the eastbound exit ramp from 82 down to 45. They're coming down off of that, using retarders and, you know,
So you want it up at the, on top of the eastbound, coming down the ramp, getting off on 45?
I would say the ramps, especially the eastbound exit. I'm not hearing any complaints from the north. You know, they're not stopping.
No,
So, I mean, this is the effect of
right by
stopping.
me a little bit, cause it goes from 55 to 40, so,
Yeah,
or 40, whatever it is.
so they bark them down.
I would say both east and west.
That's what's in the blue moon.
East and west exits.
You wanna do east and westbound exits?
Yeah.
Ramps, east and west, eastbound, westbound, okay? And from Warren to State, you said?
You wanna start it at 82 and go to the township line, or you wanna start it further north? I mean, you got them probably catching some of it at State Road if they're southbound to Mahoning. But some of those people probably up at Champion Street, but I don't know if there's an abundance of truck traffic through there. And, you know, and it's also takeoff, because these guys are jaking between shifts. They like to hear the bark. Residents don't. So,
We should start it at Chapel Hill.
305 there.
Yeah, Chapel Hill.
yeah, let's do that. 305,
So,
township limits south.
305 south to,
Township limit.
alright, so 2 on 40, 2 on 45, or you want them, well, coming off the ramp, you want them going north off the ramp on 45? No, or south?
No,
Because
you're
you'll see them on the ramp.
You're gonna have to be, any place that they're gonna get on 45,
That's what I mean, we could
they're
have,
gonna have to have.
we could have a lot, I mean.
It's just, I don't know if you just wanna address the areas that are complaining, or do you wanna address the whole thing?
I didn't know if you wanted to address it and be done with it, have them do it, I don't know if they'd do it again, I'm sure they would, but address it all and be done with it, chief, what do you think?
I think we should just address it all, put a township limit all the way 45. I think, cause
Wanna
what about
do the
people
whole-
what about Earl? You know, you got Earl, Durst, Edwards, those people are right as close to 45.
Yeah.
You know, I agree, Atwood, Nutwood, Woodside, all those down in there, they're getting a ton of it, but, you know, we're getting a lot of trucks coming southbound using their Jake brakes.
Up
I
305,
just
they
say
come,
township
down
line,
305,
go
they
down.
come.
Do
east
the
and west.
entire length of 45.
Then you don't have that problem. You know, we don't have as many housing areas off 305. So we got a little bit here with Louise and all that, Emerson.
Right.
But after that,
So do all 45? And the ramps coming off 82 east and west.
Decel ramps, yeah.
Okay.
we'll see if that, you know, if we need to readdress it, we can, but I hate to think that we need to put no Jake brake signs on the entrance ramps for these guys, but it concerns me with the eastbound entrance from 45 if they're climbing that ramp and barking the shifts, you know? I don't know that the residents down on Mahoney are gonna not complain about that, but.
You want them on the on-ramp, or off?
You ever heard these guys,
Oh, yeah.
The off ramps are worse.
the off ramps are worse,
Yeah.
some of these
I
guys
think you're gonna do it going on.
on acceleration are
Don't-
barking a Jake
Yeah.
between the shifts.
Yeah,
So every shift is bow, and then the next gear, and then bow again, and every shift. You know, if the guy shifted 13 speeds, you know,
yeah.
so he's barking them all the way down, getting all the steward on the acceleration side of life too. I don't know that we're gonna have that problem.
Okay.
And if we do, I guess we'll request more. But let's just start with the,
All 45.
with the
east-
slowing of them in the.
East and westbound, got it.
Yeah.
Okay. We took some fence down over at the soccer field that wasn't being used, like one fence that went west, where we took the gate down, the big gate. So we took that little section of fence down, and on the opposite side, the north end, by the playground, there was a fence behind the fence. So we took it down, we didn't need two fences there. The fence that runs east and west that goes to the concession, it's a 6-foot fence. Pretty rusted, pretty crappy looking. Can I take that fence down, paint the posts, and put a 4-foot fence up there so people can actually see? A lot of older people park there to watch the kids play soccer. Put the corrugated pipe on top so it's safe. And also the fence that runs north and south on the other side of the concession by the parking. I talked to bus garage already. They said we can do whatever we want with the fence and make it 4 foot too, just to look better. We took the gate down that was falling by the concession and widened the entrance to the soccer field. Just wanna know if I could put a 4-foot fence along that perimeter just to make it look a little nicer.
Fence there at all.
So like $100 a section, we need 300 feet of fence, 50-foot section, so about $600.
Do you need the fence at all?
Oh, the playground's right there.
That fence is pretty old, a lot of jagged.
Yeah, that's why I thought if we could put the new fence up,
Can't get
I mean, whatever you wanna do, if you want me to take it down, I'll take it down.
Really? How about stop and take a look at it, talk about it at the Tuesday night meeting,
Okay.
give everybody time to get a look at it?
Yeah, that's fine. I have
Bill?
other concerns
That's
Sean,
all I
I
got.
just, while you got the floor, I'd like take a couple minutes and say thanks to you and your men.
Oh,
Did a good job on cleanup, from the storm, for the last couple storms, I know it's been weekends and stuff.
well, a lot of help from police and fire.
I'll get to that.
So,
But, thank you. Anytime that I called you with anything there, you guys were, Johnny on the spot.
thank you.
Seemed to get out and get it done, the calls are still coming in. So I just want to say thank you, on behalf of myself and the community on a job well done.
Thank you.
Hopefully, we can get our hands on a chipper, so
Absolutely.
next time this happens, it, may clean up much easier, much quicker.
Yes.
But, we'll see how that works out.
Mhm.
The only other thing I have is, there's a catch basin on Old Colony. It would be just north of State Road in front of the second house that's plugged up.
I flushed that, cleaned the basins out over there, okay. North of State,
Take a look.
second house.
Yeah, residents named Molnar that lives there. Water's actually going over the road to the basin on the other side.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty bad, so,
I thought
it's,
you
we've
called-
addressed this one before.
That's the one you called me before? I thought it was the one on the corner of State,
No.
because I had the county go out. So it's
Yeah,
the
so Paul
second house
Kuzma
up.
lives on the corner,
Okay,
past his house, the next one up, you'll see it. So if you can get a look at that,
yep.
that's all I got.
That's all I got.
First, anything else for?
No, sure did.
Sean, I'd like to commend you on the decal on the new pickup.
Oh,
It's fantastic looking. Have you guys seen it?
Yeah, looks good.
It sticks out. Emergency vehicles should have that. You've got the light on top. You know it's a Champion pickup truck. It's impressive, very impressive. Okay,
Thank you. It does look good.
I'm sorry.
It does
Chief
look
Skaggs.
It just, there's no smoking in that vehicle, so we're aware of that. Okay.
Only the fire car. I could ride around with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here, what you do.
And Tom, quit smoking, 4 minutes ago.
I don't know who he's saying.
Who's next? Bill. Bill, who's next? Sean's done, so.
I don't know.
I'm sorry.
Is it my turn?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I didn't know you said my name, that's why I wanted to make sure. I'll make it fast, cause I know you wanna get to the game. Calls were up almost 600 calls for the year already. Guys are kicking butt. Just for the month of March, we were up 213 calls for service. We worked 8 OVI step hours for traffic enforcement. We worked 2 OVI checkpoints, a couple OVI arrests out of that. I completed 40 hours of governor mandated training all chiefs had to go to for the year. All of our 8 radars have been recertified by the state for free. We were able to get that done free. We just completed our last round of narcotics destructions with the assistance of TAG and court orders. So that's done. Some of those drugs were there since 2003. We held our chief of police collaboration meeting with Bezetta, Cortland, and Warren Township. We talked about grants, Lexapol, the Ohio Collaborative, things that we can do together to help each other. Again, we worked on those resolutions to get the Jake break and the no pass through, which it's funny because every day you can get 5 cars cutting through the old central property, including school buses, to avoid the light. We're gonna have an accident there, but that's why we asked for the signs.
Gotta have the signs ordered.
Working with Jennifer here, we established a zoning emergency notification roster. So we can, when we come across houses, we notify Jennifer immediately, then I'll take Jennifer to the property. We'll go there together so she's safe. We just did one at 307 Champion Street West at the corner of Myrtle, which according to Jennifer, it's supposed to come down this month. That house is decaying, footers, collapsing. It's just horrible. We did identify another one on Myrtle this week. I have to take Jennifer out there. So working together, we'll be able to get a couple of these things hopefully identified. We finally completed the installation of the exterior steel door on the station. Josh Nolan of Assa Alloy and Mike Caldwell, Bill Spencer of Caldwell Construction completed that for us for free. It was $3,500, including all the hardware. We're partnering with All In with Alan, a young man, has a neuromuscular disease. So we'll be contacting people throughout the community for support there. Josh Veazey of Veazey Cleaning Services donated a dog microchip scanner that we're using. It's at least 3 dogs a week that we're running into lately, having to take them to shelters. So this has helped us considerably. April, we got 3 officers attending free emergency vehicle operation training at Mid-Ohio Raceway. That's paid for by the state on a grant through the Department of Public Safety. We're completing our joint training with the fire department and Bezetta Police Department on stop sticks and approaches. Training, we're gonna continue that. We're continuing our aggressive driving campaign in the township, identifying those behaviors that lead to most of our traffic crashes. We're participating in Champion High School's Yes Fest on Thursday, April 6th, and then we have also started working with Jason Kish from the Rotary to plan for the Memorial Day Parade. As you see, most of our calls, they are up. Everything from traffic stops, I think when I started here, were 2 1 month, right? And now we're at 120. So we're aggressively targeting, especially OVI offenders driving under suspensions. With that, we are requesting to send 2 officers to legally and tactically confident training. Officer Lowry and Sergeant Wasco have been identified to go to that training at Canfield PD. It's $150. Mr. Vanelli has contacted me and offered to pay for that training for free. It's $150 each, so it'd be $300. He wants to pay for it. So with your permission, I'd send those 2 officers. The only other thing I do have on the want list is car 57, which is our oldest cruiser, has 160,000 miles on it. It's taking a beating. Tim has done a great job as the Township mechanic and identified a safety issue with carbon monoxide, possible poisoning of our officers. So it needs over $3,000 in repairs. So we have to at some point decide if we're gonna continue with putting money towards that car, or we're gonna rotate it and identify a future car plan, which we have put out. I just don't know if we wanna keep putting good money towards bad cars. That car's $3,000 is a lot. That car has 160,000 miles on it. It was a road department car first. So,
I think it was taken before I got there.
yeah.
Manifold's cracked or the studs broke?
Correct.
Cracked.
Both sides.
Both converters, wide pipe, everything, all the way back. Exhaust is bad. So I don't wanna put any officer at risk, nor any public member that would be in the car. So it's been redlined, and we can't use the car until it's fixed, or we decide what we're gonna do with it. My plan would be, if we choose not to fix it, would be to use the Crown Victoria until we can identify a future car purchase, or, you know, we put the $3,000 in this and hope that we get another 18 months out of it possible.
Let me talk to Tim. I don't think we got any fat in the budget to buy a car right now,
No, we don't.
so. Maybe have a conversation with Tim and see.
He's mentioned that we could probably get away with just running a straight pipe. I'd have to check the little galleys in it. But we, no matter what,
It's only illegal if you get caught.
well, we can't enforce it off the break.
Fix the,
Or admitted.
where it's on the motors, and the pipe that's underneath that makes it quiet, I forget what he said it was called.
Resonator?
Resonate, take it out, put a straight pipe in there and leave the exhaust on the backside.
Yeah, and that would be 1,900.
Talking with him, to fix both of the manifolds, the engine has to come out. Sorry.
No doubt.
And while the engine's out, there's another part that, is it the resonator or something that goes in, that he'd have to pull the engine out, it costs $700.
Yeah, the resonator was.
There's a pinhole in the exhaust there, and that's way behind in the back. I don't think it's of any. We're gonna have to make do with what we got, fellas. I mean, that has 159,000 miles on it. There's hardly any rust on it at all. The body's in good shape.
I agree.
It's unfortunate, but I mean, we used to get cars with 160,000 miles on it, and we were happy.
Yeah.
Our budget is so low in that
No
department.
fat there.
There's just no room for movement. The Crown Vic's gotta roll, and that car's gotta be repaired.
Yeah, we talked to Tim. My next thought would be that motor's gonna drop out the bottom. I'm sure he's gonna drop it onto a lift table.
Yeah, we talked about it.
If the motor's coming down, I would also recommend water pumps being done on it at that point. common failure. And the motor's gotta come down to do that also, so if we're gonna come down, we might as well take care of the rest of the maintenance on that thing while we're there.
Otherwise,
agree,
like Bill
it's not-
said, it's solid. The car
Not a
itself is
great
solid.
car, but we just don't have a bunch of money laying around to buy a car, or right now trying to buy a car, it's still, prices are still pretty steep on everything, so. Let me talk to him and then we'll try to get a game plan. And, gonna have to address it, that's all there is to it.
He's proven to be very sharp. I mean, I don't think that he would put a car out that wasn't safe.
So I agree.
So, whatever he says, I'm gonna have to side with Tim on, fixing these vehicles here.
Well, that's why
We
we
used to
here,
use a
right?
lot of duct tape.
Absolutely.
We haven't had to use any duct tape yet.
That's why we put him on. so.
No, he's been great,
He's
and I
good.
think Sean would attest to
Good.
that.
Absolutely.
He's finding stuff that some of the other mechanics have not found, so it's been great.
Yeah,
Larry, I'd also like to thank you and your department for your assistance with these windstorms. You guys were very receptive with any problems that were brought to their attention. You know, I know you were busy Saturday night when I called you. You came up with a great solution to getting State Road closed down, keeping the residents safe until Sunday afternoon. I thank you for that. The other thing I'd like to thank you for is your involvement in the incident at the school, in the way that your department handled that incident. It worked with the sheriff's department, and I believe Newton Falls also, or the deputies in Newton